Hello, Liberty. I'm back with another 2020 Senior Spotlight, and I am here with Miss DeMayo. Miss DeMayo, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you adjusting? We're right at the end of it, but how have you adjusted to teaching from home?
Um, I'm really blessed, honestly. I've enjoyed it and from what I've seen everybody say, it's like, you've got your good and your bad to it. I love spending the extra time with my son. That's been really awesome. What I don't love is the non-separation of school. And, like when my kids finally do wake up, it's usually 1 or 2 in the morning and all of a sudden my phone's bing, 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 and they're handing in assignments. But there's no separation. So that's a little, annoying. But overall, honestly, beautiful days like this, I could sit outside, I could do my work, so I'm learning new things. I'm cooking like crazy. So many dishes, so many dishes.
So many dishes. I know.
I
I
love
know.
it.
You don't have a dishwasher? I don't.
I do, but
Oh, you do? I wish
yeah.
I did. I don't have a dishwasher. It
But
makes my
it's worse. It's worse because you just let it pile, 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 and then you're just like, oh man, this is crazy. But
That is our one requirement when we move next time is a dishwasher.
yeah, no, it's definitely a good thing. But overall, really, it has been amazing. And God bless elementary school teachers because I'm teaching my son right now, and I'll tell you what, sight words. It's good that I'm seeing how they progress through elementary school, and then when they get to me, But
Yeah.
bless them. That's all I could say.
Yeah, same. My fifth grader and I are having a wonderful time doing work at home.
Sometimes
Yeah, I mean she's great, but it's like, whoa, I don't like elementary age
I know. I know.
work.
Like the
Like
word is
that work
because.
is different. It's different, but it has been good. I agree with you. We can complain all day long because, especially, I think you and we really love being around the
Yeah.
kids. That they're the reason why we teach.
Yeah.
So you could complain all day long because that is not fun. But
Right.
looking at the positive stuff, the extra time with our kids is definitely huge
Yeah.
and makes you really happy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, Mr. Mayo, can you tell us about any memories you have with this senior class?
Yes. One of the biggest memories I have of this class is actually with Kylie Bachman and Kelsey Kellum. We did St. Baldrick's, and it was, I think it was like my second year teaching in Liberty, and they were in the 8th grade. And I was the 9th grade advisor, and I was like, all right, I got to figure out like something cool to do. And so I had shaved my head once before in college, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it again. And so I did this St. Baldrick's things for kids cancer research, and Kelsey and Kylie were like, you know what, we're going to do it too. And I was like, what? Like, that is so brave. Like for me, I was like, this is, a woman's hair, it's this protection sometimes, So for me, it was really nerve wracking. And then I was like, these girls are so brave that they're just going to do, and they were so beautiful. Like when they shaved their head, I was like, wow, like inside and out, just really awesome experience. And I had so many people that were helping with the event, and Sean Davis shaved her head too. Like just really cool experience to have that with those girls and everybody else that helped out. It was awesome.
Yeah, I remember that. Not so crazy when I shaved my head like 2 years before
You had
that.
the most beautiful locks of hair.
I did. You're one of the few people that know. For those of you who don't know, I was Mr. Mayo's babysitter
Uh-huh.
and lived right across the street from her when we were kids. And I did have incredible long,
Thick,
thick,
long, curly
curly
locks.
hair. One day I'll show a picture to everybody, perhaps. But now it's no big deal. But I remember when you guys did it, and I remember seeing you, Kelsey, and Kylie, and I was like, first of all, just like, wow, brave,
Yeah.
brave, because I shaved my hair. It's back in like 2 weeks,
Yeah.
but not the same for you guys. But you all looked incredible, and you just had no. It was like no worries. Like, okay, my hair's gone.
Yeah.
I
For
did it
the
for a
first
good
week,
cause.
I remember the kids kind of staring at me funny when I was teaching, and I was like, why are they all looking at me? And I'm like, oh, right. I went from having these long hair to I'm bald right now.
Yeah, yeah. No, that was great though. That was a really good year. You know, you always have people who do it, but usually not so many people with such long, beautiful hair.
Yeah.
That was great. I forgot all about that until you mentioned it.
Yeah, that was cool.
Is there anything else that you wanted to share about them? I don't know.
This group specifically, you know, when you sent me the list of all the seniors, I was like, oh, I was writing down all their names. I'm like, oh, Adam Otero, Cassidy DeGroat, like Kimani, Jaheim. It was Sam Santana. I was like, wow, like it was such a great group of kids to teach and to work with. And when you're a middle school teacher, I feel like you don't always get to see the fruits of your labor. You know, it's like you see them in the 8th grade, they're wild and crazy and whatever. You know, it's my favorite time. I love it. But then when you see them grow and as they get to be, you know, seniors, you're like, wow, like look at what they've become. Like they're just amazing athletes, amazing people. I see them downtown all the time. Sam, I'll see at the Liberty Market, and just so friendly. And I've heard a lot of teachers say just how friendly these kids are. And that's really the best way to describe them. They're very respectful, very friendly, just kind group of kids. Really, really great kids.
Really great kids. It's funny because I've been doing this now for 2 months plus, doing these, and I always say, you know, I think they're great kids and they're so nice and they're so kind and I love these kids. But then just last Friday, I got to see them for the graduation cap and gown handout, and as I saw each and every single one of them, you know, we only had 5 kids not come at that time. It just reminded me, I looked at them and I was just like, you're all really good kids. Like you're
absolutely. How cool was that to like, it was like high school teachers, middle school teachers, and then the elementary teachers were like wild and crazy cowbells going.
Yeah.
That was cool.
I didn't get up there until you were gone at that point.
Yeah.
Because the first 2 hours straight, I was stuck down at the bottom doing the signature. I'm not use stuck probably, but I finally got up there and they were like, oh, you just missed this person and this person.
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome. There was just a huge showing of different levels of school for these kids. And, you know, Mr. Bradley told me that, you know, a lot of them, there were kids crying by the end of it, and just
they got me good. When the parents were crying, the kids were crying, I was like, oh man.
Yeah. So I'm glad I was down where I was, or else I would have been crying.
Yeah.
By the time when they got to me, it was still just like they were just happy and surprised.
Yeah.
They were very surprised because, you know, we tried to keep it as hush hush as possible that you guys all were going to be there. So they were like, what? Are all those teachers? And I was like, yeah, those are teachers. They're here for you. So a lot of them were just shocked because they didn't expect that part.
Yeah. And you could see it on their faces when they got to us. They were like, some were whipping by because they were like embarrassed. They were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, you know, and some were like, oh my, like you could just see how surprised they were. Parents were pointing, they're like, oh my gosh, look, it's that teacher. It's that teacher. You know, it was really cool.
It was a great experience.
I think we should do it that way every year.
Well, it's funny because we're sitting there the entire time, and myself, Mr. Adams and Miss Santillo are like planning for future years as we're sitting there, and we're like, well, we can do this and we can do this and we can do this. You know, if we're allowed to be around each other once they go through it, we can have something fun for them afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely.
To do. But yeah, it was a really good time. It was great having you guys from the middle school show up. Like it was awesome.
Yeah.
You know, 8th grade, you know, I know Bradley's a back and forther, but 8th grade showed up pretty big with you and Mrs. Deal and Mr. Deal and all of them. So that was awesome.
Yeah.
So finally, is there a message that you would like to give to these seniors as they leave us at the end of this month?
Yeah. So I've been thinking about this and I'm like, you know, what can I say to these guys? And there's 2 things really that come to mind, given our current situation. Like in the end, it's a guarantee that you're going to face adversity. It's a guarantee that there are going to be storms in your life, especially going through college, being out on your own, you know, going in the workforce, being out on your own. So that's a guarantee. What's most important in this is really to stay focused, on what you want to achieve, come out better on the other side. Don't just be content and like stay the way you are through these storms, like fight through them. Like don't give up, don't lose faith, just keep pushing through, and then when you come out on the other end, you're going to feel better. You're going to know that you faced that trial and you got through it, and you're a better person for it. So that's the first thing. And the second, for me, going to college was a really scary experience because I was on my own. I lived with my parents my whole life, and so for me, I never did anything on my own. I didn't even go up on the lunch line by myself. Like all through school, like I wouldn't even eat lunch. I would just not go up because I was scared to go by myself. So do things by yourself and be okay with being by yourself. And all those insecurities that may have been built up all through high school because of the way you look or whatever, like let go of them, let them loose, and then go to a movie by yourself, go to a restaurant by yourself, and be okay with you, be okay in your own skin, and take off all those masks that you had to wear maybe through high school, because it's okay. Like, and some of them I think have already matured to that point where they're able to do that, and but some maybe not, and that's okay. But now it's time to take off those layers and just really just be okay with being you, and that's going to help them face these trials and get through them. And and they've got support. They could always come back here, and just tell us about it, tell us what's up, what's going on, and we'll encourage them. And that's really the two things I wanted to say to them.
Yeah, I didn't think about the second part, but the second part is really good because they have learned to be a bit independent in these last months, and that's huge because I think as adults we struggle with that, of having too much time alone. Like we don't want to. We get uneasy if we're ever doing things on our own. So for these kids to have experienced that is a great thing, and I like that. That's something I haven't.
And it's such a hard balance, it's like, you got to be okay. Cause I think we all seek that companionship in others. So this has been a trying time to not be able to have other people to like physically talk to and be with. So they've already are starting to experience that. So being okay with yourself, being okay in your own skin, that's step one. And then, having people around you is extremely important. Having your friends and your family, you need that. Yeah. But you also need that balance of it's okay if I'm by myself,
Yeah. Very good. Thank you. Ms. DeMayo, thank you for doing this with me. Thank you for being there on Friday for the kids. They loved it, I'm sure. And just, thanks for coming back to Liberty.
Yeah, thanks for what you're doing, Ms. Fuentes.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Everybody else, I will be back soon with another 2020 Senior Spotlight. Thank you again.